Hey, 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 it's Rebecca Simon Peter with 5 Minute Leadership. So, I'm here to talk about 5 practical tips for Christmas Eve. Now, Christmas Eve is one of the very busiest and funnest and possibly most stressful evenings of the entire church year. There's a lot to manage, there's a lot that could go right, there's a lot that could go wrong. So, I want to give you the top 5 tips for Christmas Eve to make sure your services go off, I don't know, without a hitch, but very, very well. So here they are. Number one, be hospitable. This almost seems like it goes without saying, but being hospitable is the difference between your guests having a good experience and your guests having an excellent experience. So the main thing you want to do is put yourself in the shoes of your guests. What might they need to know? What might need to be explained for them? What might not make sense if they didn't have a little bit of context or direction? Think about those things, and that will help you be extremely hospitable. Put yourself in the shoes of your guests. But at the very least, here's the things you got to do: greet people with a smile. No matter what else is going on, greet people with a smile. Be attentive to their needs. That could look like having an usher, could make sure everybody has a bulletin. It could be making sure the pews are cleaned off. And then the third thing is to greet people by name wherever possible. And even if you can't remember their name, just something warm like friend, or it's so nice to see you. You can communicate with your eyes the warmth that you feel in your heart, even if you can't pull up a name. In some situations, the word brother or sister might be appropriate. You'll know in the context you're in if that's appropriate or not. Tip number two for a fabulous Christmas Eve: people want to sing the traditional Christmas carols. Don't deny them. Christmas Eve is not the time to have a long instruction on doctrinal positions. It's not the time to comment on the State of the Union. It's not the time to try to even teach something new necessarily. People want to sing traditional carols. Let there be more singing than talking, and you will have very happy Christmas Eve worshipers. So people have been singing these Christmas carols for decades, for centuries, sometimes for millennia, and they really mean something. They can really draw up everything you might like to say in a sermon or extended instruction. Let the people sing. Now, number three is include the entire family. Of all the occasions in the church year, Christmas is by far the most intergenerational. Certainly the possibility to be the most intergenerational. Take advantage of this wide range of ages that you're going to have gathering together in your church. Do as much as you can to include all the generations, all the ages. So you might have a special family service. You might set up interactive stations around the sanctuary where there are things for kids to do. You might have a section near the front just for kids. Now, I know some of you think about having a special something going on for kids elsewhere, but I want you to imagine being a parent, not knowing you, not knowing the church, walking in and saying, "We'll take your kids." That might or might not be welcomed. So, see what you can do to have all the generations together. And if your church hands out candles for lighting, give out those LED lights to the kids so that they can participate as well. So find ways not only to include children, but to involve children in the worship service. The more of that you can do, the more you move from good experience to excellent experience. Number four, nurture your online attendance. Online attendance matters. And it could be that you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's so 2020 or that's so 2021. It's not, it's also 2022. So churches with online worshiping and online attendance need to remember and include those folks. So make sure you plan and have somebody else stationed in your online with your folks, especially in case you need to step away or you're not the person to do it. You may get overwhelmed. You may not want to handle tech in the middle of everything else. Now, just like you wouldn't have people come to church and have an excellent experience without an usher, so you won't want to have online church without an usher there as well. So give people the ability to respond, to comment, to post prayer requests, to give a response, to say amen, all those sorts of things. And include a link for giving in the chat. So if you're using Zoom or you're using YouTube, there's a place to put in the chat. You can put a live link for giving. You can put bulletin information. You can do anything else that you can do live. You can do online as well. You can include PowerPoints. You can include videos. Be interactive with people. Remember, this isn't like where it's just one person speaking and everybody else be quiet. When you're online, everybody can talk at the same time that everything else is happening. Have somebody ready to engage and interact with all those folks that have come to be with you online, and greet them. When your service starts, greet them. At the giving time, greet them. At the various important points of the service, intentionally, verbally, and visually include your online people. And then the last tip for you is retell the story of Christmas. Absolutely retell the story of Christmas. Christmas is a time to share the birth of Jesus with others. People aren't coming for a spectacle, they're not coming for something political. They don't even necessarily need to learn something new or outstanding. They come to church because they want to hear the story. They want to hear the story of the miracle. They want to hear the magic in the season. They want to know that God is with us. They want to know that redemption is real. And they can find out in this very simple and yet nuanced story how God's love works in the world. So remind them of the shepherd tending their sheep by night. Remind them of the struggle to find a place. Remind them of God's grace. Remind them of the angel. Remind them of the star. And just remember, Christmas tells its own story. Allow yourself to get lost in this. You got this. You know what to do. Merry Christmas. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll look forward to seeing you next week as well on 5 Minute Leadership. Take care.